get all signed already, Brian?
I did.
Gives me something to do during council.
I figure out a fast way to sign, because I've been signing checks for the last 11 years. Not here. I mean, for the UAW, when I was president of the local, I would sign a stack like that every other day. So I had to figure out a fast way to write.
BF.
Yeah, pretty much. BPF /
Yeah. Should all be pretty quick stuff.
yeah. This will be a 10-minute meeting, and the council should be, 25 times.
I have the police one between, so that one is gonna be way short too.
Mhm.
I guess so.
I do like them all back to back.
Yep.
That's right. I forgot who my finance committee was because it's been like forever.
Yeah,
I'm like, who's my other one?
well, it'll be like forever.
He'll message me like every month for a while, like, hey, do you guys have a meeting tonight?
Not necessarily, we don't meet.
Yeah.
I mean, the police committee and the DPW are like 5 minutes. I mean, if you guys want to
Yeah,
meet
the-
for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and the other thing that is about finance, we just take it to council anyway.
Yeah, for the most part,
Probably
it all
Yeah.
comes to council, so it's, yeah.
So
No,
do we know if Alan's coming? Anybody heard from Alan?
I don't hear from anybody
Yeah.
ever.
I doubt it. No, who knows? He's on finance.
Well, I put the finance packet in the finance
Yeah, you did.
people's packet, so.
It popped right up. Council, police, finance, all together.
So,
All right, well, we'll call the meeting to order. Are there any public comments out there virtually? Hearing none.
I don't see anybody.
Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of, I think it was March,
This is the public comment coming right now.
Oh, all
March
right.
2nd, 2020.
Thank you.
So I can get a motion to approve.
I motion to approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve.
Do I second my own or do you second
I
it?
second it. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. First item of business, the deputy clerk position. Talk to me.
I was gonna say, do we have somebody in mind? You said you've been interviewing.
Well, I have like, so Amanda left in like end of March, I want to say. So we've been April, May, June without anybody. And me and Cassie have been working pretty hard in here.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
My daughter's trying to help a little this summer, but for the most part, it's kind of like I've pretty much begged Cassie to, if I can get him to do full time, would you take it? And she doesn't want it. She wants to be able to go on vacation and not feel guilty about not being here and, all that kind of stuff. So, I just feel like,
But she wants to do what she's doing
Oh, yeah.
still. She's,
yeah,
okay.
she wants to stay on and keep doing that, but she'd like to go back to working 2 days a week instead of 5. And
Got it.
I mean, she's been helping me with the meetings and, all that kind of stuff. And really, there's like no one else that has ever stepped up to do that. Like, Amanda, I mean, that was never her thing, she didn't come to the meetings and, do all that. But
I wouldn't know where to even start, so.
so
yeah.
she would come in, and kind of take care of a few things or whatever, but I mean, since Amber left, it just never really felt like I had anybody that would just take the reins on something. So I feel like in order to find somebody who wants to take the reins and really like jump in here and get involved, I think that we're gonna have to go full time. But if we don't, we don't, which is, I feel like, we trained Amber, she was part-time, and
I
she
read
left.
through your thing and I think full-time, money wise, it's not that big of a deal, but I think it would be a good idea to do full-time.
And like
Would-
you've been to some of these meetings
Yeah.
where, we're talking about all of these people or, I mean, more and more, they want more of us, and it's just like, in order for me to do anything besides like regular day-to-day stuff, that, I mean, I just am not gonna be able to keep up if we don't start looking that direction. And then on top of that, in the city's best interest, I mean, I'm gonna be 54.
I know, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna.
We want somebody to at least have you over them
I
for
mean,
a
I think it'd
while.
be really good if we had somebody with me for a couple of
Yeah,
years
I
before I
agree.
retire, and then maybe they could take over this spot and, I don't know. I mean, and then we gotta talk about, is this the direction? I mean, we built an amphitheater, we're trying to do all these great things to get people in town. We can't, are we gonna stop that or are we gonna keep doing that? And, I mean, that's
Right.
that's the direction we gotta figure out because, I mean, I could come in here every day and just kind of do what I do. But to maintain what we're building on, you really need somebody who is like back down in there, talking to the businesses and trying to understand what's going on. And
Do they need to live in the city limits?
they do
No,
not.
I didn't think so.
And frankly, I rarely get out of the office. I mean, like,
You're always here, yeah.
I'm like behind that desk, I mean, these guys usually make me go to lunch, but like today, I didn't even go to lunch. I worked through my lunch, I'm doing trainings on webinars while I'm trying to do something else, which isn't
We
necessarily
appreciate
effective.
that.
But, but I'm just saying that, is it critical? Like, could we get by with hiring another part-time person? We probably could. But we gotta talk about what direction we
Yeah.
wanna go.
In the long run, yeah,
Right.
it doesn't seem.
And this is not, in any way, to reduce what I have to do or, because, all of those things I listed are like, just like, I mean, right now, the clerk stuff is just kind of like, because we don't have an election, that's on the back shelf, we're like,
Yeah.
but pretty soon, we're gonna have elections coming up, and then we gotta deal with equipment and ordering and ballots and, we just have this real cyclical thing here. If you get somebody trained, it becomes easier,
Right.
but to keep training people isn't the easiest thing. And
Do you have interest in it?
I do, I've called a few people and I have this lady that I kind of like to hire. She worked for another company for 30 years and they sold out and she was top management, so she was like, they kept her on until they got everybody trained, but they couldn't keep her and pay her. And she seems like she's really interested. And I've interviewed several people and they're all want full-time, and the people that want part-time, they're not gonna stay.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that I see, is that we could hire another part-time person, but we're probably looking at a 2-year turnover, I think.
Which isn't optimal for us.
At max, and, but, then you find somebody like Cassie who wants to stay, but also like, if she wants a day off, I feel like she gets the day off because she works so much and, it's like, if you kind of, I mean, I feel like we have a really good environment here to help people and work with people, but, she also doesn't want to work 5 days a week.
Right.
What's mayor think?
He's totally on board.
Well, it's not gonna come as a recommendation because it's an agenda item, but.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that too, so.
Mhm.
I mean, I kind of felt like it needs to come as an agenda
And-
item,
And the pay is not the carrot. The benefit package,
Absolutely,
pretty damn good.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what costs so much, is that if we didn't have that benefit
the
package,
pay is worth it to
Yeah.
have somebody.
Yeah.
Consistent and to stay and to
Yeah.
learn and to know.
and so that number, like more than half of that, extra $30,000
Mhm.
is more than half of that is benefits. Because I'm already paying 15 in wages or 20, so pretty much you're just adding a few more hours on, but it's the benefits that kicks up the cost.
Yeah,
And so
well.
there's
but
nothing
it's-
else I can do about
it's the
that.
benefits that will keep a quality
Yeah,
person.
it's the
Right.
incentive. for
And
sure.
I feel like you get somebody in here and then, like I said, in my, thing is that you get some loyalty back,
Mhm.
And Cassie has the loyalty, but she also wants to go on vacation and, do things like that. And she
Shame on her.
and she don't want the responsibility.
Speaking of, I can't make it to the planning. meeting.
Oh, righty.
All right, so property acquisition, we're gonna buy this thing. We need a motion from somebody and approval from the body of the whole, and we just do it, right?
Yeah, it looks like we've come back to a price of 95,000 on the 300 Grand River. And the school wanted 90 or whatever, and then we'll have some closing costs. And then if we could just approve that I could sign all that paperwork, then I won't have to bring
It all
anything
looks
back.
good to me, because
Yeah.
they'll just let you do it.
So then I won't have to bring any of that back.
Yeah.
So, but I think, I mean, we've all been on board with this for a while. It's just kind of getting the
It's here.
school and they're waiting for something on the sign off from the Eagle report or whatever. And I mean, that the contamination doesn't scare me over there because we're gonna put up a parking lot,
Yeah.
you know, it really doesn't. But I think, you know, a BEA gives us a baseline and, you know, it helps protect us in the future. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And then we talked about the investing at Huntington before. I did not put that back in your packets, I don't think. But I think that, remember we kicked it back to finance
Yeah.
and basically,
Yeah, 1% is better than no percent as long as we've still got liquidity.
yeah, and right now, you know, I think we have enough in there that we need to go ahead and do that. And that's what this program will help me do, that Huntington, it's a, like they put things in different segments and they'll make sure, you know, we'll talk about what I need for cash liquidity, and then there'll be some that just kind of rolls. And I mean, I feel like even if we get $10,000 or $15,000 a year, we're getting nothing right now.
Yeah.
Right? You know, that could help offset, you know, the full-time position if we start getting some interest. I mean, it's a couple $1 million in the bank.
Yeah.
So for $2 million in the bank, it feels like we ought to do something with it. So, you know, I don't know, I mean, I need a resolution or something from you guys that we want to go forward with that. But I didn't know if you wanted to talk through that anymore or.
No, I mean, really, the only reason I referred it to finance is.
I know.
Let's have a finance committee.
I know.
So,
And it's fine, you know what, I mean, it's not a giant rush or anything, and it's a good way to start out the new fiscal year, because July 1st
Yeah.
is our new fiscal year, and, you know, I can, if everybody's on board with this, then I call up Huntington and.
I'm not crazy knowledgeable about this type of thing, but I mean, it doesn't, I don't know why.
So like, they would keep, you know, part of my money like we have right now
Right.
in like, just in an open bank account, but it would get 0.01%, which
Yeah.
right now it's getting nothing. Okay, so right now that's getting nothing. And then they'll give me some money that kind of stays tied up for 1 to 12 months. And then that can get like 0.3, which is still a lot right now.
mhm.
Right.
I mean, these are
I mean, it
not
just
big
goes up,
numbers.
Yeah, but
I mean, when I first started here, I would take, because we get like tax payments, we, you know, we have to pay them out every 2 weeks. And the CDs paid enough for me to, you know, throw those monies into a CD for 2 weeks. I mean, we were getting like a lot of money on CDs back then. And that was 20 years ago. And now I don't even mess with it. It just sits in there, that I, you know, get rid of it. And you're allowed to earn interest on that money,
Right.
but it just doesn't, it didn't make any sense to have to go to the bank. And now I have to drive somewhere to the bank, you
Yeah.
know? Most of this can't even be handled online. So,
yeah, I
I
don't know
mean-
Mm-hmm.
why we wouldn't do it.
Is
just-
Huntington MML certified or do they
Well,
pick one?
everything that they, this program is for municipalities. So the people that I work with only deal with government accounts, and so they are aware of the Michigan Public Act 20, and everything would be in compliance
Yeah.
with the state.
Tax ramification.
Yep. So, I mean, we don't have to pay taxes on anything we earn. It's just straight up, you know, that we have to invest in certain things.
Mhm.
And we can't invest in something where we would lose money. So
Makes sense.
basically, it's just a matter of tying up some of the funds, and in order to do that, I need council approval.
We will make that recommendation.
Okay.
Did we need to motion on 3? Or no, we were good there, right?
I think both
Property.
of those items are on the council
They're
agenda
just, yeah,
tonight.
they're just to bring up. and
Yep.
discuss it.
So both those items are on council agenda tonight. So that, but I sometimes, like, when we have regular, finance meetings, if there's things that are on the council agenda, then I also put them on the finance agenda, because it makes it go much smoother at council. If
You have a
there's
brief
3 people,
discussion.
if there's 3 people that already know what's going on.
Right.
I mean, I try to put it in the packets, but sometimes it's a lot easier to talk through it here. Both of those are on council agenda, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So what else is on council agenda?
Clerk, 300 East Grand River, the Sacha,
SATA.
SATA.
So Dina, I mean, this would be probably your first time dealing with SATA.
Mhm.
So basically, you're familiar with what they do or no?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So a few years ago, we, partnered with SATA and said, as long as you keep increasing our ridership, and which it appears that is happening. And this year, the amount we paid was less than what we had committed to. And then I almost expect that amount will be less than, this amount they're asking for. It may be less than that next year when it comes in. So it just depends on your ridership and
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff and how
That's
much
super
other
helpful.
donations they get. So I know when we stopped it, people kind of, they weren't happy about it, but we only had 1 or 2 people riding.
Right.
And now I think our numbers are more than that. Yeah, so,
and people use it for doctors and lots of things, so
Yep.
it's very helpful, yeah.
and we just, we asked that they kind of promote it a little bit and deal with it, so.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, we typically swallow hard and prove it.
I mean, it's a good public thing to do.
It's good to have to offer.
So, I know I didn't put it on the agenda, but the DPW, has a lawnmower on their stuff from their meeting. John Deere lawnmower, which we budgeted for, so
Yeah.
that's 13,000, so we plan to take care of that tonight. Under other, I'll probably talk about the ARPA funds, the American Rescue Plan Act, and we can get 134,499. So our options are to, go in, set up an account and either accept, deny, or delay. So I guess there are communities that are saying, no, we don't want them. I don't know why we would do that. I mean, even if right now we say we want them, and they're gonna send them to us. And then we can put it in the bank account and let it sit there. And then until we figure out what we have or a project we have that is eligible for that expenditure. Now, my understanding is there's like 156-page document of the things you can do with this money. So, right, I feel like I've watched several webinars already, and most of them up until just recently, they didn't even have rules for our community because we're a non-entitlement unit. So like some of the bigger entitlement communities where, that all that came down, and these people are getting millions of dollars. I mean, 134,000 is no small potatoes to us. That's a good chunk of change, but I don't think we'll be able to use it on construction or things like that, but like, maybe we could put handicap doors on, like those openers. Maybe we can, use it for the river property.
Right.
So there are other things out there. You could use it to improve your housing in town. So like, if we could, put a few apartments in downtown and help fund that project, or
Power wash houses.
For a library.
I don't know if we can use it for a library. I'm pretty sure that is not gonna
That
be
was a
enough.
joke.
But, so, I mean, one of the things that caught my ear today was that we could use it to improve housing conditions. So like, because people were harmed during COVID and couldn't, take care of their properties or whatever, that they're allowing these funds to, level that playing field. Like, so you could give money to people to improve their housing, which makes the area look better, which increases economic development. And so
Right.
But there's a lot to learn about it, but I do think that we should, go ahead and accept it. And that we should,
What-
jump the hoops and do whatever we have to
What
do.
idiot wouldn't accept it?
Dude, I'm telling you, there are people that are not,
Yeah, it seems
they
like
they don't want it. There's too much red tape with it. There's,
Oh, we gotta learn something.
there is red tape. I'm not gonna lie to you that, there's gonna be work to be done there, but, I mean, 134,000, we do a lot of red tape for 134,000, right?
Yeah.
So, and the other thing that came up was like a new sound system over at the park. I don't know if this money would pay for that or not, but I talked to DPW a little bit about it. We have one sitting at the library that isn't being used.
Yeah,
have
that
large-
could be accessible for market.
Right, and so
It's
we're
not
talking
hard to
about
call.
maybe having it moved here. Because Dave isn't sure that it's gonna work for what we want over there. But I don't know all the answers yet, but the guy gave us a price for like $3,000 to move it, or 3,500. But I guess there still would need some boring or underground, something to hook the wires or something, but. I mean, it's a $30,000 sound system sitting over there, not being played. And when we're downtown, having lunch, it would be nice for it to be playing in the evening when you're having the, market. So I feel like it's something that we should look at, is moving that so that we can use it and have control of it, so. And that 5-foot piece of property we met about last month, quickly, they pulled it because they said the county treasurer didn't notice it properly. This
No.
5-foot.
So now they're gonna pay the taxes on it and keep their pole.
Well, I don't know that for sure, because even though it wasn't noticed properly, they called us and they asked us what it was and what was going on with it.
Yeah.
So they were noticed. So I think it'll go back through the hoops again, but I mean, I'm gonna see if we can get a hold of GE or whatever in the meantime, because if we buy that, it's right in the middle of this 300 Grand River property. So that's, part of it. So
Yeah,
So
keep the mosquitoes off, get in
We'll
the
take-
door.
we'll tell
I
them
got
that
like 10
it
layers on
Creates
the-
an attractive nuisance and there's liability there.
right.
So,
Right. I mean, the only thing that's on there is a really old, ugly telephone pole.
Yeah,
some kid is
Like
gonna
your
wanna
door.
climb that pole and when they fall off and bang their head,
Yeah,
we're gonna sue you guys.
Yep.
Or just, we'll get rid of it for you.
yeah, we'll clean up that pole for you. You give us the property. I mean, basically, it's just like a little nuisance on
Well, that's an actual law, an attractive nuisance.
the property roll. It's just a
Yes.
nuisance. That's all it is.
I mean,
So,
if you got a pond or a pool and some kid drowns in it and you didn't lift the ladder up at night,
yeah,
you have created an attractive nuisance. And they're drowned and you're liable.
yeah. So that's pretty much what I have.
Okay, meeting adjourned.